Welcome to this episode of Health Reversion. You're here with Adrian, and in this episode we're going to be discussing time-restricted eating. As the name suggests, time-restricted eating involves setting aside a portion of your day on a consistent basis where you will go without food and drink. Now, there is research that suggests that there are benefits to this from the 10-hour mark. And these benefits pertain to increased insulin sensitivity and also giving your gut a full 10-hour break. So for example, if you were able to finish up all of your evening festivities, so the dinner, dessert, any other drinks you have, if you were able to finish that up by 8 p.m. and you were able to go to 6 a.m. the next morning, that there would constitute a 10-hour fast. But bear in mind, that doesn't include any midnight snacking or having a tea at 4 o'clock in the morning or anything like that. Going without food and drink for the full 10 hours is what will constitute the time-restricted eating. The next level up from here would be to consider a 50-50 approach. This is where you would go without eating and drinking for 12 hours and then you'll feast for 12 hours. So again, if you were able to wrap all of your festivities up by 8 p.m. and you weren't to have any food or drink until 8 a.m. the next morning, that's a full 12-hour window there. And again, that's going to provide even greater levels of insulin sensitivity and also give that digestive system a full 12-hour break. Moving on from here, we're looking to get the window of time that you're eating down to less than half of the time that's available in a day. Some popular ones are the 16-8, which is to abstain from food and drink for 2/3 of the day, or 16 hours, and then eat all of your calories and feast for 8 hours. The next one up from there is to go potentially for 5/6 of the day, so 20 hours, and then leaving 1/6 or 4 hours to get all your calories in and feast during that time. And these types of, shall we say, longer fasts are where human growth hormone levels are increased to protect muscle mass, because your body thinks that it's going without nutrition for a period that it's unsure of. And you're also going to be seeing some minor regenerative effects such as DNA repair. Now, when considering our modern day society, it's pretty hectic out there. And particularly at the moment, sometimes it can be quite difficult to make sense of what's going on. So going without food and drink for more than 10, 11, 12 hours, it might not be feasible for everybody. If you can go without food and drink for 13, 14, 15, 16 or more hours, if you can do the 1 and 2 day fasts every now and then, wonderful. If it doesn't impact your lifestyle and your ability to earn an income and to look after the people that you need to look after, great, keep doing it. That's excellent. However, for a lot of people, it's just not feasible. So if you are able to manage some of the shorter fasts, such as the 10, 11 or 12 hours, here is a suggestion for how to get the most out of that fast. Now, there's often references in the intermittent fasting and the fasting and time-restricted eating movements that make references back to our caveman ancestors and how they would have gone without food for a day, 2 days, 3 days, possibly even longer. And that might have been without water as well. So from this perspective, doing a 10-hour, 11, maybe 12-hour fast, if that's what you can manage, doing it in a dry state, so without the consumption of obviously food, but any beverages, and the only exception here is plain water. Now, as a final point, which may seem obvious, but the stark difference between the way our ancestors lived and the way we live in the 21st century it's not comparable. So our ancestors didn't have the luxury of an electric kettle to make a herbal tea or a black tea or a coffee to help them get through the fast. They just had to endure it. What's that saying? Grin and bear it. They just had to grin and bear it. And we're talking for sometimes multiple days here. So hopefully that puts it into perspective that if you're able to manage that 10, 11 or 12 hours, that you aim to do that in a dry state. If you need water and you feel inclined to drink water, go ahead. That's completely fine. There's not enough nutrients and minerals and vitamins to register anything. However, in the plain coffees and the plain teas and the herbal teas, there are some studies that allowed the consumption of these during fast, and there were still benefits that came out at the end in the conclusions. However, there is other research that suggests that even though plain coffee and plain herbal teas and plain tea don't actually contain calories, there is still a metabolic response that is initiated by the body because it senses that there is the potential for nutrition coming back into the body. And all of those wonderful regenerative processes that it started all throughout your body to start clearing out things, to start clearing out old cells, repairing the DNA, all of that is potentially jeopardized with the ingestion of these substances. So it is important to do your best. I know it's hard, but to keep away from those beverages, and if you feel inclined, just plain water. And further to this, even though it might be highly beneficial to do these longer fasts, up to 2, 3, some people go for many days, in this day and age, in our modern hustling and bustling society, a lot of the time that sort of goal when it comes to fasting could get in the way of your ability to earn an income. If you have children that you need to raise, it could affect the ability for you to be there for them in the best way possible. It can affect your ability to exercise and move the body the way that you want to move it. And finally, it's depriving you of the regular nutrition that you were getting to allow your body to continue to do the detoxification that it does behind the scenes on a daily basis. So there's lots of advantages for doing the fasting, but please remember that it is a stress to the body. And while it might be a good stress, it still is a stress. So doing the 10, 11 or 12 hours is going to provide you those health benefits in relation to increased insulin sensitivity, a good break for the digestive tract, and some minor anti-aging benefits. But if you can do that on a consistent basis and that's what you can manage, then you're going to get the most out of these time-restricted eating windows through doing it in a dry state, with the exception of water if needed. I'd like to thank you for watching through to the end of this video. If you didn't get anything out of this video, please give it a thumbs down. If you did get something out of this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. In the meantime, keep well, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.